This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to IPHE's webinar series. My name is Eric Parker. IPHE, of course, is the International Partnership for Hydrogen and Fuel Cells in the Economy. And I encourage you to check out our website at iphe.net to view our other webinars and educational content. For today, we have a presentation from Toshi Shirai, Director of Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Strategy Office at Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, or METI. And he will be presenting on the country's hydrogen strategy and their progress towards a hydrogen society. Thank you, Toshi.
Thank you very much, and hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to speak about Japan's action towards hydrogen society. So today, I'd like to talk about Japan's strategy. So let me first talk about our strategy. So the quest for hydrogen in Japan has a long history, actually. It dates back to 1974, when we had an oil crisis and seeking for alternative energy. But the recent political boost was made by our Prime Minister Abe, who had an instruction to us to develop comprehensive basic hydrogen strategy, which was formulated in 2017. So this is the first national strategy in Japan, and we see hydrogen as a future energy option towards 2050. And we set clear goals, such as to reduce the cost of hydrogen from current $10 per kilogram to $3 per kilogram by 2030, or further down to $2 per kilogram by 2050. And we think there are three conditions to make hydrogen affordable. On supply side, we need to rely on inexpensive feedstocks such as renewables or unused fossil fuel resources plus CCS. And also, we need to scale up hydrogen supply chain to get the benefit of economy of scale to further reduce the cost of production. And also, on demand side, we need to also scale up the consumption of hydrogen on mass scale across the sectors, from mobility to power generation or to industry. And also, we need to develop key technologies on production, transportation, and consumption side. And this is an overview of our basic strategy, which has a lot of numbers. So for example, as I said, the cost of production of hydrogen, we are aiming at reducing it to $3 per kilogram by 2030. And also with this cost reduction, we expect the production volume of or consumption volume of hydrogen from current 200 tons per year to 300,000 tons per year by 2030. And to create the demand, we also provide a lot of financial support to expand the deployment of hydrogen or hydrogen-powered systems, such as fuel cell or combined heat and power system, which currently stands at 280,000 systems as of 2018. But we are further trying to increase that system to 5.3 million systems by 2030. Also, in transport sector, we have now around 3,000 fuel cell vehicles, but we are trying to increase it to 800,000 fuel cell vehicles by 2030. So as such, we have a lot of numerical targets set in this hydrogen strategy. And to further ensure the achievement of this numerical targets set in this hydrogen strategy, we have created the strategic roadmap in 2019. Actually, we revised the old roadmap in this year to make sure to identify what kind of policy and measures needed to achieve the target set in the hydrogen strategy. So we have set technical milestones, and also we identify a set of policy actions that enable us or help us to achieve the target set in the national strategy. So for instance, currently the fuel cell vehicles sells at around $70,000 in Japan. and which is relatively expensive and more expensive than the hybrid vehicles. And currently, the price difference between fuel cell vehicles and hybrid vehicles stands at around $28,000. But we'd like to reduce it to further to $6,500. To this end, we also need to reduce the system cost of fuel cell. Also, at the same time, we need to also facilitate the deployment of hydrogen refueling station. And to this end, we are supporting the subsidy, providing such subsidy to the set of hydrogen refueling stations, and also we provide the subsidy for operation of a hydrogen refueling station. And to this end, also we're trying to reduce the cost of construction cost and cost of operating costs also. So as such, we have created more technical targets or technical milestones to ensure the achievement of the numerical targets set in the national strategy. And this is the overview of the roadmaps, and obviously I don't have time to go into details of these every numbers set in this roadmap, but the point is we have set many technical milestones to ensure the achievement of a numerical target set in the national strategy. And also we identify a lot of supporting measures as shown in the right-hand side in this slide. So for example, to reduce the cost of a hydrogen station, we need to think about regulatory reform or deregulation of the hydrogen station while ensuring safety. And this is an overview of policy and measures taking place in Japan. So, for example, on production side, we are doing a project to produce hydrogen from brown coal plus CCS technology. Also, we are trying to develop technology to produce hydrogen from solar power generation with water electrolysis technology. And also in the transportation and supply chain supply side, we are building up, we are supporting the installment of hydrogen stations, as well as supporting the projects to develop large-scale hydrogen ocean transportation network. So actually, we are actually constructing the first ship to carry liquefied hydrogen from Australia to Japan. And also on the consumption side, we are supporting the deployment of fuel cell vehicles, fuel cell bus, and forklift, and also in the building sector, in the household sector, we are providing subsidies to deploy the high fuel cell powered cogeneration system. And in the future also, we are exploring the potential to use hydrogen for power generation, and to this end, we are conducting a feasibility study to use hydrogen for a source of power generation. And also, we are doing a project in industrial sector, such as steel making process, to use hydrogen for the industrial process. And this is a overview of the project on supply side. So for instance, with Brunei, we are doing a project to produce hydrogen from off-gas, which is unused in Brunei, by using a steam methane reforming technology. And we convert that produced hydrogen into chemical substances and carry it by chemical tanker. And after the product lands in Japan, we have also developing dehydrogenation facility in Japan so that we can take out hydrogen for further use. And also with Australia, we are doing a project using brown coal to produce hydrogen. And also on the Australian side, a CCS project is going on to store the emitted CO2 in Australia. And we are also developing gasification technology to produce hydrogen from coal. And also, we are in the process of constructing liquefied hydrogen tanker, which is a pilot scale, as well as also we are constructing a loading facility in Japan so that we can receive hydrogen carried by liquefied hydrogen tankers. And we are expecting next year the first shipment of hydrogen coming to Japan. Also, in Japan, we are exploring the possibility to produce hydrogen. And in Fukushima Prefecture, we have a 10 megawatt electrolyzer facility to produce hydrogen from solar power generation with 20 megawatt capacity. And we like to use the produced hydrogen in the events such as upcoming Tokyo Olympic Game or Tokyo Paralympic Game to run fuel cell vehicles or fuel cell buses. And this is the project on demand side. So we have around, we expect to have around 130 hydrogen stations by 2019. And also we are promoting the installation of fuel cell bus or fuel cell truck, which is a demonstration project. And also for the hydrogen station, 23 private companies gathered together to jointly form one company to boost the installment of hydrogen refueling station in Japan. And also in the power sector, we have demonstration projects to use hydrogen to produce electricity and heat. And there is a 1 megawatt class hydrogen gas turbine already set in the Kobe Prefecture in the west part of Japan to produce from hydrogen electricity and heat. And we have succeeded to produce hydrogen stably, produce electricity stably from hydrogen with this 1 megawatt power generation turbine. And to scale up the power generation system using hydrogen, we need to develop technology to stably burn hydrogen in the gas turbine. And to this end, one Japanese company is doing efforts to develop a burner system of hydrogen so that we can use it in the large-scale power generation system in the future. And let's move on to the international efforts, international issues. Japan is promoting the global efforts to expand the use of hydrogen and production of hydrogen in the world. So as you can see in this slide, there is growing momentum to use hydrogen fuel and fuel cells in the world. And there are many countries doing projects or exploring the use or production of hydrogen, as you can see in this graph. So for instance, United States, obviously the country is leading research and development on hydrogen, and they have already more than 7,000 fuel cell vehicles and 25,000 fuel cell powered forklifts. And Japan is also gearing up the deployment of fuel cell vehicles and also doing the supply chain, doing the project to establish supply chain in cooperation with Australia and with Brunei, as I explained. Also in Germany, there's many projects to produce hydrogen from renewable technologies, and the fuel cell trains are already introduced. And in Paris, there is a project to introduce hydrogen fuel cell powered taxi in Paris. And the United Kingdom is also exploring the possibility to inject hydrogen to a gas pipeline. And also in Netherlands, in cooperation with Norway, there's a project to explore the possibility of hydrogen power generation. So there are many projects, and obviously there's a growing momentum for hydrogen. And to further promote the international efforts, we have organized the Hydrogen Energy Ministerial. The first ministerial meeting was held in 2018, where more than 300 people from 21 countries, regions, international organizations attended. And we have published a Tokyo statement which directs shows the direction of the international efforts to expand the deployment or production of hydrogen. And also this year in September, we have a hydrogen energy ministerial meeting, and to follow up the Tokyo statement, and also in this meeting we have discussed what action need to be done to further promote the use or production of hydrogen. And we have published the shared summary we call it Global Action Agenda, which is a set of concrete actions to guide countries' efforts to scale up production or use of hydrogen. And in this meeting, more than 30 countries, actually 35 countries, regions, or organizations attended this event, and 600 people gathered this event. So the number of participants to this event more than doubled compared with last year, which is another proof of a growing momentum internationally for the use or production of hydrogen. So let me, lastly, briefly explain the content of Global Action Agenda. We have a set of actions for a variety of issues, including, for example, sharing aspirational goals such as 10 million hydrogen-powered systems and 10,000 hydrogen refueling stations in 10 years. This is an indicative, non-mandatory, and collective goal to encourage the use of hydrogen in mobility sector and to encourage the investment in this field. And also to establish hydrogen supply chain, we encourage research and development and sharing information among projects. And also we'd like to promote investment to further scale up the supply chains of hydrogen. And for the sector integration, we'd like to expand the use of hydrogen in various sectors, including industry, transport, building, and households. And also, we tap on the issues such as study and evaluation of hydrogen's potential with help of international organizations such as International Energy Agency, IRENA, and EUREA. And also, we think it's very important to continue communication communication, education, and outreach to increase the public awareness to the use of hydrogen. And also, in this sense, we think it's very important to disseminate information and conduct campaign. And for example, we are planning to showcase our hydrogen technology on the occasion of Tokyo Olympic Games 2020 next year. So thank you very much for your kind attention, and this is an overview of our efforts to promote the use and production of hydrogen in Japan. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Toshi, for that informative presentation on Japan's efforts. And that does conclude today's webinar. Please stay tuned for future webinars and visit our website for more information at iphe.net. Thanks.